Now, I'm not necessarily surprised that this is getting a second season. It was just a little surprising hearing on Christmas that the Faraway Paladin was getting a second season, despite still having one episode left to air. The only thing that I can think of, the reason the announcement happened when it did, Christmas, great time to reveal it, and because they had that recap episode to kind of like give the production a bit of space, I imagine because this is when it should have come out, episode 12, so they just kind of kept the announcement for the same spot even though we still have one episode to go of the first season. Either way, Faraway Paladin fans are eating good if we're already getting confirmed that Season 2 is happening, which was probably always in the pipeline to begin with. I imagine that they wanted to do 2 seasons when they greenlit the entire production, but still, given what we just saw in episode 11, Will's kind of snapping and breaking point, the fact that he seems to, like, he believes that he should be alone because his power exceeds pretty much everyone he's ever met, and he's gonna go at it alone. This is without a doubt the best moment and, in my opinion, the best episode of the anime to date. So to know that there is going to be more than just a single episode has me grinning ear to ear. I mean, yeah, the light novel author took a bit of a break with mental health and everything, but now that the author is getting back into writing, the fact that there is still more story to adapt, I mean, Faraway Paladin fans are just eating good no matter what. If you're reading it, if you're watching it, if you're doing both, we're gonna have more content in both mediums. And that's amazing. This episode, to me, what made it so special is that with Will's character, right, we know we get little tastes, we get little hints of how he felt in his original life. Another reason why I believe this should be an isekai, despite some criticisms I've seen some voice about it not being relevant enough. But he was a pretty lonely character, and just because that's not the most original of aspects about an isekai, it's still something that you can see why a person would very much want to change in his second life. Having a family, having something very similar to his mother, father, grandfather, having that really close bond where they're all equal, where they all have their backs, where you can talk with someone before you go to bed and know that they're there, they're going to protect you, they're going to be your friend and family. But unfortunately, something Will said in this episode is true. He is extraordinary. He is more extraordinary than anyone we've met so far. I mean, a wyvern killer is something that is really unheard of. And yeah, Menel is also really strong, but it's very different. It's very night and day, it feels like. And while I don't think he needs to separate himself, I think he needs to just adjust maybe how he goes about certain things. Maybe it was wrong to have him go up against a chimera by himself just because he assumed he could handle it. Maybe he needs to be a bit more strategic with certain elements, but I don't think he needs to, like, get rid of his party or just go at it alone and become a lone wanderer. Gracefield, for once, is not going to like that at all. It's going to completely warp his opinion, his beliefs, the way he goes about things. We had some evil smirks in this episode. Very much that blade that he was using very much feels like what he might end up becoming should he walk a path alone and just continue on that kind of momentum. But it was great to see a moment like that because Will's been very happy. In a lot of ways carefree because, I mean, he really can deal with any threat that he's gone up against. And have someone want to stick by his side from his original life, being lonely, being afraid of being alone, to unable to accept the truth of just how exceptional he is. I mean, that moment when they first went into the ruins to kind of save that village, I mean, he did something that no one thought possible, but because no one got hurt, he just believed that everything would always be okay. I definitely think there's room for Will to improve in that there was mistakes made, but I don't think he's all right in his head. Like, he's very much clouded by these negative emotions, from one's wielding that demonic blade to then seeing someone he very much cares for almost die because of what he considers one of his gravest mistakes. You understand where all that emotional strain came from, but I also hope that they can get through to him, and if not, if there is like a separation cliffhanger, episode 12 concludes and Will truly goes on it by himself, I hope season 2 can hopefully mend his broken heart and what happened. But I mean, when he drew that blade after, literally feeling like his belief was there, he's been doing everything right, he's been believing correctly, he's been strategizing correctly, and when the lightning strike went off incorrectly and then he got bit by the snake and then he drew that blade, seeing him and just the internal monologue of him saying, like, there was nothing strategic there was nothing graceful there, it was just rage, it was just these negative emotions slashing and dicing and breaking apart life. And if it wasn't for Raistov there, I mean, who knows what would have happened. I mean, we know that weapon is very dangerous. I think it's good that he keeps it there because truthfully they would have all died had he not had that blade. But on the flip side, there's definitely, you can see why he needs people around him, because he needs to be stopped if he does use it too much, because maybe he doesn't have the will to actually put it away, sort of a thing. Like, these are the moments that truly shape the Faraway Paladin into something that's really, you can't compare it, right? And that's a very common thing I've been saying across these videos, is that it's, on paper, it doesn't look like anything all that special. Sure, it doesn't have the craziest of animation or art design, but the way it goes about, from the music in that scene when he was losing it, there's not a better piece of music that could have played there. The voice acting behind Will's voice cracks and just the internal rage, the fear, the almost wishing his parents were there. Like, that type of voice acting and casting directing is just so spot on. But it's the way that the anime doesn't feel like it's rushing through things. I feel like in terms of most production committees, they would have had a moment like this halfway through the season. And I mean, if you browse Reddit, honestly, Twitter seems to love this. It seems mostly on like the Reddit, and I've seen different videos and things like that say it's too slow and it takes a long time to get places. But that's the build-up. We got so much connection to kind of believe what Will was believing, that everything would be fine, even if there was threats. We didn't think we'd see one of our characters, one of our favorite characters potentially, at least that's how I feel, like blindfolded, wondering, is he going to go blind? Is he going to lose his life? You don't think of that. Having that slower build-up, seeing the relationships blossom, and then seeing an episode like this kick off, it's no surprise that it hits you that much harder and you completely get where Will's coming from. Had something like this happen an episode after he met all of them, who the hell would have cared, right? They would have just been new personalities, and you don't understand why he's getting that upset. He only knew him for a day. But having so many episodes with these characters, that moment with B pretty much saying, like, how great, like, I mean, seriously, you went up against such a crazy force, the fact that you took out so many beasts and you even healed him, I mean, honestly, you did a great job. And he completely dismisses it, like, I don't think he would say that at all, so yeah, I'm just gonna go see him now. It is heartbreaking to see a character like Will, who's usually so gung-ho and so positive about life, feel so twisted and depressed. And it's something you wouldn't see normally in a show like this so late into the game if it's gonna be this slow at the same time. And slow doesn't equal bad in my opinion. There is slow build-up throughout these episodes, but it's never boring. That's a key difference. I think a lot of times people think slow equals boring, but it really doesn't. Having characters walk from one location to the other, listening to tales from a bard, or just learning about the characters, that's exciting to me, the same way it is seeing Will completely destroy demonic-looking beasts. But seeing how everything has linked up to this moment with one episode to go, and then we wait for the second season, I'm excited. I'm very excited. Honestly, the stuff that aired on Christmas is just depressing in a lot of ways, so I'm glad I decided to cover it on Mondays and Tuesdays here. But yeah, excited to see how the last episode's going to conclude though. But let me know your thoughts, feelings down below, theories if you have any. Leave a like if you enjoy and subscribe if you're new around here. Since the next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.